Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Foundations of Orthodoxy. Tonight we're going to be talking about with the Feast of the Angels this week. I thought it would be a good time to discuss hierarchy, and there's the heavenly hierarchies, and there's also the church hierarchy, and it's important for us to understand like our role in the church. And so for example, we have the ranks of the angels. So we have, as we know from liturgy on Sunday, right? We have the six-winged cherubim, many-eyed seraphim, right? And we have fans, the symbols of those high ranks of angels. And so also did the ancient temple in Jerusalem had cherubim throughout. And so anyone know what hierarchy means? We often hear it like completely misused sometimes, right? Like they'll say the organization's hierarchy, right? Literally it comes from priest, Deros, and archi, which means chief. The same word, archi, the archangels, right? They're above angels, chiefs of angels. So when we hear the ridiculous expression, it used to make me cringe when I was still in the business world of, there's been a change in the organization's hierarchy, Okay, all right. I'm not going to say anything, but that's the way people. But literally, it is an order of priesthood, and so it's important for us to realize that in the church there's a hierarchy, and that we're all part of it, and that's an important thing that we're going to get to in a minute. But before we do, St. Dionysius, the Areopagite, likened the hierarchy of the church to the hierarchy of angels, right? And so we'll say angelic powers, right? Bodiless powers of heaven. Angelic powers were, we already mentioned seraphim, cherubim, and thrones. So we think of these things as above the throne, at the throne, below the throne of God, right? If we're thinking of proximity to God. So this is the highest rank. So there's three classifications basically of angels, and seraphim, cherubim, and thrones is the highest of the classifications. And there's two others that we fit into there at the same time. And so the next rank of angels is dominions, powers, and authorities. That we would say would be the middle ranks of angels. And then the lowest ranks of angels principalities, archangels, and angels. So, now, one of the things is in the Greek there's actually two different terms for archangels. So as we'll see, archangels applies to these up here, but specifically with regard to battling spiritual powers, the ground troops as it were. We have angels and they're commanded by archangels. So in the same way as in the military, yes, sergeant, right? Or yes, chief on a boat, right? From the sailors. And the archangel's rank, they were the chief of the boat, or the sergeant, as it were. Now, so, although this isn't dogma, it is said that Satan was from the middle ranks, actually. He didn't like being middle rank, right? But the Bible calls him the prince of the powers of the air, right? So literally it's defining the rank of angels. And so while this is not something that we must believe, it is helpful for us to know of. Not only was he better than the angels, the higher ranking angels, he was better than God. God didn't know what he was doing, neither did any of these guys who were following God blindly, right? So Satan decided to take it upon himself. And one of the things that he really thought God went awry with was the creation of mankind. And really disliked it. So, another thing, so when we speak of the Archangel Michael or the Archangel Gabriel, we're not talking about this rank of archangels. And you'll notice most of the icons call them archon, right? The chiefs of all the angels. They're actually in the rank of seraphim. And of those, who besides Saint Michael is an archangel? When we talk about the 7 archangels, so the highest of the rank of the seraphim, who else? Gabriel. Important, right? And that's why sometimes we put the 2 principal deacons on the deacons' doors, which is actually one of the reasons why they're called the deacons' doors. But sometimes we put the angels on. In our parish, we put the angels on, Michael and Gabriel. And who else? Who's the third one who's typically depicted with them? The Book of Tobit. No one? Okay, Saint Raphael. And after that, Uriel, Salathiel, and Jehudiel, Barachiel, and Jeremiel, or Yeremiel. And each of those had a job. Like Saint Raphael, so as we'll see in the service that we're doing after this class, Saint Michael's chief captain of the body of his powers, Saint Gabriel's chief herald of the body of his powers, Saint Raphael's chief healer of the body of his powers, Saint Uriel's chief enlightener of those in darkness of the body of his powers, and so on. So they each had a job and a rank and everything else, just like each of our guardian angels has just one job. That's it, just to watch over us. That's the job that they were given by God. And so we have angels watching over, as we know the church fathers. There's some angels who are a little bit higher of the ranks, right? That are watching over towns and cities. Some that are looking over principalities, right? We see the names, right? We see the names corresponding to their jobs, to their ranks, and so on, going up the ladder, as it were, going up the hierarchy. And all of our guardian angels are here. Is there any question on this? Questions, comments?
So each angel just guards one person?
Correct, right. Like each of our guardian angels what we call a guardian angel guards just us. Now, we can look at it as we have more than one guardian angel in the sense that there's going to be a guardian angel, a guardian archangel of our parish too, right? Watching over and making sure that this guy's doing his job, right? I mean, the angels are not divine. They're not flawless. They're not like God, so they need oversight. Fortunately, the angels do a fair bit better at their jobs than we do. As it seems, if what we know about them that only a third of them fell, they're doing quite a bit better than humanity. So.
Do they move in ranks, or do they always stay what their rank is?
Right. So that we don't know. We don't really know. But since we've read that Satan was at one time a principality, and then another time he became the prince of the powers of the air, it does seem Satan moved rank, and he was getting more ambitious by the minute, right? Minute in quotes. So, in any case, there does seem to be some indication that they can move rank, and so on. I often laugh because it's a wonderful life. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. And I said, every time a bell rings 6 times, I guess cherubim got his wings, right? His extra wings. So, yeah, it's okay. All right. So now let's look over. So how does the church hierarchy coincide with this? Well, one of the important things that we know, and I just want to mention this, is in Acts chapter 6, verse 7, and the word of God increased, and the number of disciples multiplied in Jerusalem greatly, and a great multitude of the priests were obedient to the faith. And it was years ago when I was doing a Bible study in Acts, and I got to tell you, I just used to breeze by that verse, and all of a sudden it leapt out at me one year when I was doing it. It doesn't say the great multitude of those who had been priests were obedient to the faith, right? So in other words, their priesthood continued right into the new covenant with Christ. And it's a great multitude. So we find that most of those who we see as bishops and presbyters in Jerusalem and Judea and Samaria are Jews. I mean, they're in terms of bloodline, children of Israel still in the church. And that actually continued in the up until, I think, the 8th bishop of Jerusalem. And then the reason why was because, of course, the governing authorities would not allow it. So Gentiles have to step in to the role at that point. And then, of course, we have mixed lineages, right? So, but I don't want to get too far down that line. But and we can talk about that more in depth later. But Hebrews 7, verse 12, for the priesthood being changed of necessity, there is also a change of the law. And so Christ came as a priest according to the order of Melchizedek, not according to the order of Aaron, even though Jesus was actually of the Levitical line. So, in fact, we read very specifically in the early verses of Luke that St. Elizabeth was a direct descendant, full-blooded, of Aaron. And Elizabeth was Mary's cousin, was the Mother of God's cousin. And St. Elizabeth, and as we read, St. Anna, who was St. Mary's mother, was a full-blooded Levite. So she was actually the daughter of a priest, of a Levitical priest. But Christ did not claim the Levitical priesthood because the purpose of that was to get to the Messiah. The Messiah fulfilled it, and then all of humanity is brought in. So